Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series, we're doing our new unit on how to talk about job performance. We'll be looking at key vocabulary to describe people and just to evaluate them. We'll be working on key expressions as well. With key expressions later in the unit, we'll be doing an appraisal, and we'll be putting all of this together into a final realistic simulation where you can put together your skills and do something that you may have to do at work. Well, more about that in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. And here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means please turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Also, tune in to the new vocabulary that you learn. Use it as actively as you can so that I can correct you and you can learn that way. And rule 3, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. Now let's find out a little bit about you. So far I've got 3 new faces. I don't know any of you. So let's find out a little bit about you. I think I saw you first, Paco.
Yes, my first time.
Hi, Paco. Where are you from?
I'm from Malaga, Spain.
From Malaga. Okay.
Yes,
You're not...
south of Spain.
Yes. I'm in Lisbon, which is in the south of Portugal. Not so far. Nice to meet you. And let's say hello to, who is this? Marco. Hello, Marco. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thanks. Nice to meet you. This is my first class with you.
And where are you from, Marco?
I'm from Italy.
From Italy. Where
Yes.
in Italy?
In the north side of Italy. Just
In,
between in the north of Italy.
from Torino?
No, my hometown is Bologna. It's just
Oh,
between
Bologna. Okay.
Milan and Florence.
Yes, I've been there.
Oh, really?
Yes. I had no place to stay when I was in Bologna. I think I slept in the train station. I don't know what I did. Long time ago. And let's say hello to Pablo. Hello, Pablo. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. In fact, my name in English is Paul, and I'm from Poland, and I live in a city in the north. It's called Gdańsk.
Gdańsk?
Gdańsk, see?
Gdańsk.
Yes.
Got it.
And
Gdańsk.
usually I use Verbling for Spanish classes, but well, now it's my first English class, in fact.
So your name is not Pablo.
No.
What is your name in Polish?
In Polish, it's Paweł.
Paweł. Okay. I'm going to call you Paweł.
Yeah, of course.
Because in English we don't translate names. So if you're
Okay.
Paweł, you're Paweł. So let's do this. I'm going to give you first a link to our notes, which you can see in the chat window, or you should be able to see it. And second, I'm going to give you a link to our slideshow, our presentation, which will appear right now. Whoops. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can copy this properly. 1 second. See if it works. Oh no, my links are not working. Hang on a second.
Yes.
You don't need the presentation. I'm going to share it with you on screen, but I like to put it there in case you want to see it up close. You can download it or whatever. Well, I'll tell you what. It's going to take a minute for me to find the links. So, if you want to open the notes, you can. What I do is if I make corrections, if I correct you, if I offer suggestions, if I suggest a change in the way you're using English, I try to put those into our shared notes. And I'll share my screen since you're all new, so you can just see what it looks like. And then we'll get started. And if I can get the link to the presentation, I'll give it to you as well. But you can also just look at your screen. Okay. So here is the link that you should see in the chat window. When you open it, you'll see the gold Getting Results in Business graphic. and I put a new unit. I keep 2 units at a time in this, so you can always have access to the corrections. Let me just go down the page. It's still loading, so it's a bit slow. Hold on. I have some news each class, what the class is about, my contact information if you want it, and then finally the table of contents. So here you can see that we're on Unit 15, Job Performance. And the direct links are below here. Now, you see Unit 13 at the bottom. That's going to be erased probably today. So if you were watching the classes and there's any notes you want from that, you should copy them now because it's going to disappear. I only keep 2 units at a time. If you want to practice any of the vocabulary that we've learned in the past, I have created a set of Anki flashcards. Anki is an intelligent software that tests your memory. So there's a free version and a paid version of this, but you can always go back and review the previous vocabulary from any of the units we've done by using Anki. But if you want the free version, you have to copy from my notes before they disappear, and I always keep 2 units in the notes at any time, the last one and the one we're doing. Okay, so our vocabulary from last week was all about job performance. We're going to try to expand it today, but you can see it there. Let's get started here. I'm going to share the presentation with you on screen, and what we're going to do is a little review for those of you who weren't here, and then we're going to cover some new ground for all of you, including Giuseppe, who was here. I think you were here, right? I think you were here last week. So
no.
No? Okay, so it's new for
No,
everyone.
I didn't attend these lessons. Sorry.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. How to talk about job performance. In this unit, we're going to be talking about personal qualities. We're going to be appraising performance and setting objectives. Imagine you have a staff and you need to give them a yearly appraisal. So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on giving feedback to people. You have to be diplomatic when you tell people things that they need to change. And then the last 2 are connected. We'll be telling a story, meaning that when you talk about your history, when you talk about things you've done, you have to use narrative tenses. And you can see there at the bottom, using the past continuous, I was doing, and the past perfect, I had done, to talk about past events. So we're going to revise our vocabulary, revise our verb tenses related to telling a story, the narrative tenses. In today's class, we're going to be talking about personal qualities and developing our vocabulary for that. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to skip the parts that we've done last week, but I'm going to pick up with our vocabulary section right here. Since none of you were in the class, this is a review if you've been watching, but since you're all new, let's pick it up here. We're going to read about one particular way of motivating people, a little case study. And we're going to use this to develop some new vocabulary in the area about personal qualities. Okay? So, what happened to Giuseppe? Giuseppe, where did you go? Did you just disappear?
Yes, he wrote on the chat that he's going to go.
Giuseppe. Giuseppe, you've been demoted. You are no longer a super student. You're fired, Giuseppe. Okay, so let's try this. Let's take a paragraph each. We're going to read and discuss this particular plan to motivate the staff at a hospital. This was an experiment. And then we're going to use this to work on some good adjectives for personal qualities. I think I had a question for you. Yeah, 2 questions. Before you read, think about these. Actually, Pavel, why don't you read the first question we need to think about?
How does Howard Lawrence feel about the success of the scheme?
Right. And Paco, could you read the second?
Yes. Who recommends or nominates employees for the award?
Okay. So just keep these questions in mind as we read, and we'll try to answer them. We'll see how clear the text is afterwards. Okay? Here we go. And why don't you start us off, Marco, with the title and the first paragraph.
Personal qualities. Employee of the Month scheme at Elm Grove Park Hospital.
Keep going.
Shall I go on?
Please do. First paragraph.
The employee of the Month scheme, which recognizes the work of individual staff, has been very successful. Howard Lawrence, Associate Director of the Hospital Trust, is not surprised by this. At Elm Grove Park Hospital, we have fantastic, enthusiastic staff who are highly motivated to ensure that each patient is relaxed and comfortable during their stay, he says.
Great. Here's a question. What does the word trust mean in this paragraph? It does not mean to have confidence in someone. It's a different meaning. Can you figure it out from the context? Can anyone figure it out? What is hospital trust in this sentence, in this paragraph? Does it mean that the hospital trusts Howard Lawrence, like they're good buddies?
It's kind of union or something.
It's a kind of union. Yeah. Maybe it's sort of maybe it's more like the board of directors, perhaps, the people running the hospital, a committee running the hospital. What do you think? Something like that? Because we have a trust fund. I'm just thinking of things I can think of with trust. We have a trust fund where your money is managed by a group of people that invested. I'm trying to think of other trusts. So it sounds to me like it's the board of directors, the people running the hospital. I don't know. We'll see. We can look it up and be sure, but anyway, it's something like that. All right. Pavel, why don't you continue with the middle column?
Nominations can be submitted either by members of staff or by patients. Since the scheme was launched in 2003, the winners have included James Briggs, Ward Assistant. April 2006, James was nominated for showing exceptional commitment to all aspects of his work and for being flexible, patient, and helpful all the times.
Okay, very good. What do we know about the hospital scheme so far in the second column? What have we learned about it, Pavel? What is the scheme, basically?
We learned about the first person who is in this trust. His name is James Briggs, and well, he works there from 2006.
Okay, good. And what is this scheme? What's the purpose of it? What he's been nominated for? What? For an Academy Award? Is he an actor? No.
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 For his work.
For his work. For being recognized for his work.
Okay.
Recognized for his participation. Okay, very good. And Pago, why don't you do the last column for us, and then we'll talk about this and work on the vocabulary.
Nathan Wells, Porter, March 2006. Nathan was chosen not only for being hardworking, dependable, fast, and efficient, but more importantly, for his sunny personality. Ana Suarez, clinical nurse specialist, December 2007. Her college nominated Ana for being caring, understanding, and dedicated, not just to clients, their partners and families, but also to the staff in their department.
Okay, very good. 2 words I want you to repeat. The first one is the word colleagues. Colleague. Say colleague.
Colleague.
Yeah, with a g at the end. Colleague.
Colleague.
That's it. That's it.
It's like a workmate.
And also the pronunciation Nathan. Nathan. The first guy who was nominated, the second guy who was nominated, Nathan Wells. Repeat, Nathan.
Nathan.
The top of the 3rd column. See it? Nathan Wells, Porter, March 2006. Nathan was chosen.
Not only the
Right. So just repeat the name.
The name? Nathan Wells.
That's right. All right, because I was hearing Nathan or something, so Nathan.
Yes.
That's it.
Nathan.
Oh, all right. We've got 3 people with 3 different qualities that were nominated for being recognized for the work. Let's go back for a second and see if we can answer the questions. Let's see how clear the text was. How does Howard Lawrence feel about the success of this scheme? What do you remember from the reading? How does he feel about it?
He felt that he was not surprised because he knows that he's got good employers in the hospital.
Good employers?
Employees.
Employees. Excellent. Now, since our unit is on job performance, we can't let you get away with the word good, Pavel. You have to qualify the word good. So I want you to think of at least one adjective that's about personal qualities that's not the word good, too general, more specifically. Why are they good? They are what?
They are caring.
They are caring, good.
And dedicated to their work.
They are caring. These are 2 very good words. I think what he said was, if I remember, I think he said enthusiastic and motivated, but caring and dedicated are also good qualities. Sure, why not? Very good. And the second one, who recommends or nominates employees for the award, according to what we read? Who does the actual nominations?
The patients.
The patients, right?
The staff.
The patients and the staff. So it's a little bit unusual to get an award from your patients. Yes. I guess it gives you incentives to make sure that they don't die on you, right? They've got to live, otherwise you're never going to get nominated. Ahmed, we're just doing a little review because these gentlemen were not in class last week, just so you know.
Yeah.
Now that you're here, we're going to move forward quickly. We were waiting for you. And Ahmed, why is Giuseppe coming in my class and leaving? Ahmed, I told you, don't let him do that. Very distracting. Ahmed, are you ready?
I am ready, but for what?
I don't know.
I am ready.
I just want to know if you're ready.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Remember when we read this last week, Ahmed?
I do remember, but I don't remember what exactly.
Okay.
I remember there were 3 employees or something.
That's right. There were 3 employees.
Nominated, yeah.
There you go. So what matters is that in this scheme, people are recognized for their contribution to the workplace, and each of them are nominated for different reasons. Those reasons are the adjectives that we're going to work with today. So let me just see if I have the link to this for those of you who want to go backwards and forwards and look at the other pages. Give me just a second while I open this, and if I can find a link, I'll post it. Because I thought I had it, but I didn't for some reason. Hang on just a second. While I'm looking for that, Ahmed, just do a quick scan of the text to remind yourself of what we talked about, and then we're going to do a few exercises based on this. And we're going to end up with a little discussion at the end, a little conversation. Hang on one second, everyone.
What does dependable mean?
In Spanish?
No.
Oh.
Dependable. Hard-working, dependable.
But I'm saying, if I translate it to Spanish, I think it would be, well, in Portuguese it's fiável. So in Spanish it should be similar, right? Fidel. I don't know how to translate it. Dependable means that we can trust this person. The person will always do what the person says he or she will do. They'll always do it on time. We don't need to even think about it. We know that they will do what they say to be dependable. How would you say that in Spanish?
I have no idea in Spanish.
Hold on a second. Who am I talking to here? Oh, Italian. I'm sorry. That's why. I'm talking to the wrong person. How would you say that in Italian? How do you think you would say that in Italian?
In Italian, you might use this adjective fidato.
Exactly, that's it, fidato.
Okay.
Because it's from Latin. So in Portuguese, it's fidel, fiel, I should say. Fidato. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, I'm going to give you the link to our presentation because you may want to look at the other pages or download it. So here is, hold on a second. This is, give me a second because I've got to actually open this on my computer first. Present. Give me just a second. This is opening very slowly. Hang on just a second. Almost there.
Actually, Ahmed, the link that Ahmed gave us is working. So
it's the presentation, not the notes?
Yeah, both of them.
they're both.
Okay, good. Fine. Okay, so if you need it, it's there, and that way you can go back and forth. If you want to go back to this text, because you're not going to see the text on screen, I'm going to move forward. Okay? So that way, if you want to go back and cheat and look at the words in bold, you can. Yuki, how are you?
Fine. Fine, thank you.
Yuki, you're not going to leave, are you?
Sorry?
You're not going to leave, are you?
No.
You can't leave. You come in, you're staying, Yuki.
Of course.
Giuseppe came in and then he left. I was very upset. I was very, very disappointed. Okay. Here's my first question for you. Yuki, we just read a little what would we call this? It's a kind of a summary of a motivational scheme at a hospital where people were recognized for their participation. So you can look at it in the link if you want. But for the rest of you, do you have similar schemes or similar programs to recognize success in your company where you work? Just out of curiosity, how else is good work rewarded? And then there's two examples there: bonuses, commissions, things like that. Does anyone have a similar thing going on where they work? How are you recognized for your achievements? Just out of curiosity. Pavel, what do you do?
Well, I'm a business analyst in an IT company, so I have some kind of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it called commitment? Yes.
Could be. Finish the sentence. Let's see.
Okay, so it's made every half a year, and
in evaluation. Is that
okay.
it? Of your work.
Yes, exactly. It's evaluation. So all the workmates that I work with.
All my coworkers, all my peers, all of my colleagues, all of those could be used.
Okay, of all of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, give me.
They evaluate you?
Yes, they evaluate me, and then I get the feedback from my boss.
Right. Okay, so you have a bi-yearly appraisal, basically. Every 6 months, you're given a kind of evaluation by your co-workers and colleagues. Is that right?
Yes,
that's how it works?
Right. It's called bi-year.
Okay, very good. It could be. If it's 2 times a year, it could be.
Okay.
I mean, I guess what I should say is this: it's not quarterly, because it's not every 3 months or every 4 months, right? So it's not quarterly.
Okay.
So it depends on what you call it at work, but bi meaning 2. So I would say bi-yearly, or usually these things are annual. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. I should say biannual. Yeah, I'm not thinking clearly. Yeah, it sounds better. Biannual evaluation. By the way, all of our vocabulary words are going to be on, what page is this? On page 4 of our notes. So right now, Vocabulary 12, colleagues, co-workers. 13, evaluate or appraise. And then 14 is going to be biannual, because that sounds better than bi-yearly. Because I'm not yet awake, therefore my brain is not working. So that's why I say bi-yearly. And Marco and Paco, I don't know you very well. So what do you do? Do you have a similar scheme to be recognized in your work? What do you do, Marco?
Who's the first?
You, Marco.
Okay. I think the best rule to make a business successful is to work in close partnership with one another. I'm speaking of the employers and the employees of the executive and the employees.
Right, the executive and the staff.
Yet they have to put on the same level. Both the executive or the board of directors and the workers, the employees.
So
I think in this case,
do you have
a
recognition scheme similar to the hospital where you work? Is there a way to recognize the staff for their achievements? Are people evaluated? Are there bonuses? How does it work where you are?
I think it's also a good idea if you would work, if you give them some kind of bonus, if you acknowledge your professionality, your job, even in this case, turn out good, to be a good solution.
Okay, very good, very good.
So, a successful business.
So we can say it incentivates. It incentivates is a good word in English. It incentivates people to give them bonuses. In your opinion, incentivates. I'll put all these words on the board at the very end. But that's because it's an incentive. A bonus is an incentive, so it incentivates people. Paco, what do you do for a living? What's your line of work?
Well, I'm pre-retired now.
What did you do?
Please? But I was working in a bank until last year, and we had there a system to incentivize people.
Yeah, I should say incentivize. I tell you, my brain is not working today. Incentivize. I'm tired. I don't know what's going on with me. We had a plan to incentivize people. Sounds better. Sorry. Yeah.
Incentivize people.
What was the program that you had to incentivize people?
Well, for each product that you sell,
right,
you receive a number of points.
Ah, okay.
Eventually, at the end of the quarter, the points are converted in money.
Okay.
But
so
you have to
people can see their bonuses while they're carrying out the normal activities. In other words, they can see what they're going to get.
Yes, but you have to reach a minimum number of points to receive to convert it in money.
Okay.
If not, you don't get any money, and even you are telling off by the company for not to reach the minimum amount of points.
Go back to that last point. If you miss the minimum, the company, what does the company do? If you don't make the minimum, or you reach only the minimum, what happens?
The company tell you off.
Tell you off? Like calls you names? Like, you're stupid. What do you mean tell you off? What do you mean? Tell you off is like to put you down, to tell you that you're not worthwhile.
Yes. More or less.
Really?
More or less. They
No
They
wonder you
call
retired.
they
Sounds
call
like.
your attention. Yes, they
Well, tell some off
I don't know how to say
is
this.
usually like if you're, you know, talking to a bully, you tell them off. They should know better. So maybe it's not the best word. So you're trying to say that they put they put peer pressure on you if you don't
Yes,
make your minimum. They put peer pressure on you. They sound a little condescending or something. Is
yes,
that
yes, yes.
yeah, I see
That's
what you
right.
mean.
That's right. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you retired then because it sounds like you need to be in a nice warm environment like
Yes,
Verbling where we all
because
support each other.
yes, because even more than in a bank
Uh-huh.
who works um, all the nation,
Uh-huh.
right? Uh,
Right.
there is a lot of difference between some offices and
Uh-huh.
other, between some branches and other.
Right.
But the system is the same for all. So if you are, for example, in a little town,
Uh-huh.
very difficult to sell such kind of products.
Uh-huh.
It's impossible for you to reach the
Of
minimum,
course.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It makes
And,
sense. This is the one size fits all approach, and unfortunately one size doesn't fit all. So
mhm.
I see what you mean. Yes, absolutely. Well, that brings up a good point, which is that do bonuses and commissions really work? Because if you're in a situation where there's no way that you could reach the level of sales as other people in other parts of the country,
Yeah.
how could that motivate you? So that's an inherent flaw in the system, it seems like. So it's a good idea, but in practice it might not actually work. So that's a very good point to bring up.
Mhm.
That brings us to the last point on this slide here. Ahmed and Yuki, as our senior students here, do you think employee award schemes are a good idea? Think about what Paco said, because Marco and Paco are bringing up two aspects of the same point. It's a good idea to recognize people. Perhaps bonuses are a good way to do it, as Marco said. But as Paco points out, it's not easy to have a fair system, right? If you're in a different region where sales volumes will be lower, how could you possibly reach your targets? It's just not possible. So, what do you think? Ahmed, what do you think? Do you think that employee award schemes are a good idea in light of this?
Well, in this case, we have to has in every branch local evaluation. I mean, in
Uh-huh.
every branch because
Right.
it is fair to compare, for example, the cells in a village, for example, to the cells in the city, in town center.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
So it's
mhm,
got to be, it's a good idea, but it needs to be adapted to the local situation, the local circumstance, is what you're
yeah.
saying.
The thing and the other thing, if you can get feedbacks from the clients,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and clients who've been there or been here, for example, they can evaluate the staff
Yeah, that's
in their
that's what the
branch. Yeah,
hospital was doing, wasn't it? The hospital
yeah,
here we read about, it's the patients themselves who do some of the nominating, not just the board of trustees. It's both. That
yeah,
seems very unusual to me. Seems very unusual.
yeah. But I think
Um,
it is usual because to me, for example, I ask my students by the end of each semester to evaluate me by spreading questionnaires
mhm.
among them. So, I mean, uh,
It's
uh,
true, but
yeah,
but but does that feedback go to the administration? Because it's supposed to in most. What do you teach in a university? I can't remember.
college, yeah.
So college means what? In English,
Uh,
American English, that means university. In British English, that means for children.
well, okay. College in Saudi Arabia is something, how to say, after high school.
After high
But
school.
yeah, it is less, it is the student will get like diploma, not
Not
bachelor.
a degree.
Okay.
Yeah, it matter. Is it a degree? I think it is a degree, but not like a bachelor, really. Because the student will study just for 2 years, not for
Right.
4 years, you know?
Okay, it's a different system.
Yeah.
We call that a certificate. We call that a certificate. That system disappeared in Europe about 5 years ago.
Uh,
That used to be called a bachelor's, and the higher degree was the licenciatura, depending on where you live. It disappeared. In America, that's called an associate's degree, and it's mostly non-existent these days. It's been replaced with certificates.
I see.
And then the licence or licenciatura is called the bachelor's. So it's weird because in Europe the bachelor's was the lower thing, and in America it's the higher thing. And then after that you've got your master's and your PhD, which are basically the same. So it's probably equivalent to a kind of, these days, to a kind of certificate, but in American English we'd call it an associate's degree. You can get an associate's. But anyway, I understand what you mean. We just don't have that system.
Okay.
Well, one more question there. So, Yuki, Ahmed is saying that if we can adapt it to the local circumstances, then it's probably, it could work. So rather than having a blanket bonus system that applies to everyone when it's not fair or whatever, what are some good ways? What are some good ways to evaluate job performance besides sales volumes? And Ahmed is talking about questionnaires from the students or the hospital. They had feedback from the patients, what kind of care they were getting.
As I mentioned, there is a pros and cons of introducing our award scheme. I think one big advantage is that awarding someone who has achieved good sales stimulate another employers, and it
stimulates or motivates. What do you mean by
motivate another workers, and maybe it would lead to the good sales result of totally it lead to the good sales achievement. And everyone have stress every day, and if it works well, maybe it leads to the good sales.
If it works well, right?
Yes,
if it does.
If it works well. It's an important point. On the other hand, as I mentioned, it would be introducing employee award schemes would lead to the very stressed tension in the team.
A lead to either A, a lot of tension, or B, a lot of stress, but not both.
Yes,
tension or stress.
It leads to a lot of tension, a lot of stress, and it spoils the motivation of team members, and it would lead to the fail. It would it would lead to the bad sales result. This kind of award scheme is completely different from traditional way of Japanese management.
Really? How
yes,
so?
Many Japanese companies traditionally, now situation maybe have changed a lot, but traditionally many Japanese companies thinks it is very important for for company to construct a good relationship. Company think employees think company as a family, and company think employees as a family member, and every member thinks about not own result, but company's result, group's result, and they make every effort to create a good relationship and good result of company.
So, just a question though, what are they doing to instill this relationship? If you're supposed to think of your company as your family, how do you create that? Because that would be great if it were true, but I work at a company. These people I work with, I'm not verbling, I mean at night. I work at a school. They're not my family. There's nothing I can do to make them my family because it's just not that kind of environment. So what is the way to incentivize people to think about their coworkers and higher ups, the administration? I mean, how could you instill that family feeling? I don't really understand. What do they do to make people feel that way?
Traditional Japanese company prefer to ensure the employment than to give a high reward to excellent high reward to excellent workers.
Monetary reward.
Yes, such this type of company thinks very important to have to provide opportunity to all workers, not
so basically, if the company is
not particular workers.
Sure. If the company is giving you a chance to move up the ladder,
Yes.
then they're doing their part, and you should feel that you're part of the family, as long as everyone equally has this opportunity. Is that
Yes.
that the idea?
Yes, that's the idea. Lifetime employment is a symbol of Japanese traditional companies. Lifetime employment ensure the stability of your work, and many companies organize the company trip. we company member have to recommend to join the party event of company and trip, company trip, and they group of company often have a opportunity to drink together after work.
So it's also making a familial environment as well.
Yes.
So it's the opportunities, but also that everyone is socializing together all the time. So that I understand. I've seen a lot of companies do that.
In such a community, in such a traditional company, introducing scheme, introducing award to particular employees just harmful for creating good relationship among workers.
Right. So that's part of the Western cult of the individual. In America, we tend to be focused more on individual performance, and in the Japanese traditional way, that would be seen as kind of negative, right? As harming the group ethos.
Look, but recently, such a situation have changed. Many companies now want to simulate, want to become a European American companies.
Yeah,
globalization. Many Japanese companies now introduce award system.
Yeah, we took over the world. Globalization, Yuki. Globalization.
Yes. Globalization.
Take a look at this. These are some words that we've talked about so far. Just want to show you that they're on page 4 of your notes if you want to have a copy. So in this class so far, some words have come up like colleagues and co-workers, right, Pavel? Remember that? And
Yes.
evaluate and appraise, 2 words to talk about the biannual thing you have to do. Incentivize, I said incentivate, but I don't know why I said that. I know that's a word, but that's not the right dictionary word. So incentivize is the right word. And motivate. To tell someone off is usually what we say to a bully. Tell them off. Tell them that they're no good for what they're doing. So it doesn't sound right in the workplace. But we could say that there's a condescending environment if you don't reach your sales targets or something like that. There's a hostile environment or something like that. But not really to tell someone off. We can say that you are put down by people, by your coworkers, if you don't reach your sales targets. To be put down is different than tell someone off. Tell someone off is you've done something wrong, like morally. Put someone down is that you're being condescended to by someone. And finally, when Yuki was speaking, I thought another good vocabulary word would be the word undermine. If the environment is too competitive, it may undermine the motivation that you're trying to create, that you're trying to incentivize. It may undermine it.
Sorry, can I say spoil the motivation? No?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to correct you on. Spoiled doesn't really work.
It's possible.
Not really. I mean, it's okay, but we're trying to use business English register, which is very neutral, and spoil sounds more kind of emotional.
It would
Like,
be better to use undermine.
Yeah, because undermine means to go against the thing you're trying to achieve, to go against your goal, to undermine it. Spoil is the same as ruin, and spoil is like, you've spoiled my good time. Just like, it sounds kind of emotional, and undermine is more neutral, perhaps.
How about lowering the motivation?
Yeah, but again, that's like spoil. It's kind of a little bit more emotional. So it's not wrong, but I think these are more neutral terms. Undermine, yeah, all of those. So let's go back to our vocabulary from the text that we read earlier, and let's try to work with it. What I'm going to do is, is my camera working now or what? This is the time of the class when everything freezes. Hold on a second. What I'm going to do is, when my camera is working, I'm going to share the exercises with you. Come on, camera. Nope, everything is frozen. Okay. So, how are we going to do this? I'm going to... All right. If I can't get this to work, I'm going to tell you where to go in the document. Let me see if I can try this one more time. Nope. Wait a second. Is it working now? Yes, it is. Okay, good. There it is. Okay. Okay. First of all, what I want you to do, can everyone see this on screen, working with words, personal qualities? You see those 6 quotes I have on screen right now?
Yes.
Excellent. I want you, this is a review for people who were here last week, but we're going to do this first, and then we're going to move on. So I want you to silently read one of the quotes and go back to the text and pick out the best vocabulary word for the quote that you read silently. Okay? So read it on your own, and then go back to slide number 6 to find the words in bold that best describe that person's quality. Because remember, Jason Briggs, Nathan Wells, and Anna Suarez were all nominated for different reasons. So in slide 8, you're reading some of the feedback about employees and trying to figure out which of those words is the most appropriate. All right? So take a minute, read through them. And when you're ready, we'll go through them one at a time really quickly. In some cases, more than one word would be acceptable. All right? Everyone read through them, more or less?
Yes.
Yeah? All right. I'm just gonna call on you individually first, and then everyone else can help each other out if there's other ideas. Okay? So Paco.
Yes.
Paula is able to adapt to any change or deal with any new situation.
Mhm.
Paula is what kind of employee, Paco?
Flexible.
Flexible is perfect. That's one of our words in bold. Sounds great. That's it. Pavel, you never see him relaxing. He's always doing something.
He's hardworking.
He's hardworking. Yuki, what else is he besides hardworking?
Patient?
Nope.
No. Maybe it's the second time to do this, this exercise. Maybe.
You gotta go back. You've got to go back to slide 6.
It,
Pick only those words in bold.
all the time I make a mistake.
Patient.
You think about it. Ahmed, what's another one besides hardworking for number 2?
No, dedicated, enthusiastic.
Dedicated. Absolutely. Hardworking, dedicated. And Yuki, there's one more we might say. Even one more, but not patient. Hardworking and dedicated means the person does not need to be rewarded. The person does it on their own, proactively. So the person is what, Yuki? If you do things proactively because you want to do them,
Active.
look at the words. Look at the words here. Look. Look. Look.
Yes, I now enthusiastic. No.
Enthusiastic.
Efficient.
Ah,
I would say motivated.
of course, it's motivated. If you want to do it, you're self-motivated. And the word here is motivated or highly motivated or self-motivated. All those would be good, absolutely. Right? Because the key word is that if he wants to do it, if he wants to do it, he's motivated. Okay. Samuel, this is for Marco. Samuel really wants to help customers and the people he works with. Which of the words in the text, the bold words, is best for Samuel?
The best goes with the sentence. It's, of course, helpful.
Helpful, perfect. Samuel is helpful, that's right. Can anyone think of a second one besides helpful?
Caring.
Yeah, he's caring. It's possible, right? Because he wants to help them, so he cares about them. And if we say wants, again, it's motivated as well. Because if you want to do it without external rewards, then it's motivation is a good word as well. Okay? And Ahmed, what about number 4? Even with difficult customers, he'll listen for as long as it takes.
Patient.
He's patient. Absolutely. Can anyone think of a second word besides patient?
Maybe dependable.
Dependable? I don't agree about that. There's nothing. He may show up to work late, right? He may. I don't know. We don't know how he works.
Also caring.
Caring, absolutely. But we know he cares because he's willing to listen to people, and therefore he cares about their interests. Okay? And Yuki, what about 5? She's positive about any new idea. I've never heard her complain. She's positive about any new idea. The key word here is positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
I think enthusiastic.
Absolutely. The closest synonym we have from that list is enthusiastic. If you're very positive, right, that means that you are always coming up with ideas. When you're coming up with ideas, you give energy to other people. That's enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm is interesting. It comes from Latin. It has the same root in Latin as the word for God, Deus. Theus, Deus. So if you're enthusiastic, you are full of spirit. That's kind of the origin of the word. And when you are full of spirit, you like to do things. So it's interesting that it has the same origin, being very positive, being full of spirit, high spirit, something like that. Interesting word. Inga, Paco, is always punctual and never off work. What is the one and only word we can use to describe Inga on slide 6? She's never off work. She's
Yes.
always punctual.
Yes.
She is what? What kind of worker?
I don't know the exact adjective.
Take a look.
Yes.
There's only one word in those bold words. There's only one word that we could use. What do you think? Pass?
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Dedicated. The key word is
Dependable.
she is dependable. Right.
Dependable.
Because she's always punctual. She's never off work. So we know she'll be there. We don't have to guess. We don't have to think about it. She is dependable. So our words are flexible, hardworking, motivated, dedicated, helpful, caring, patient, enthusiastic, and dependable. Let's go back here for a second. There's a little tip on slide 7. Could you read that for us? Anton, you're just joining us now. Could you read that tip for us?
Sorry, I only listening, please.
Oh, you don't want to read? Come on, we want to hear your voice. Voice, Anton.
Okay. Where I have to read?
Could you read the tip for us about the word patient?
Okay. The word patient can have different meanings. As a noun, it means a person who is receiving medical treatment. He is Dr. Fisher's patient. As an adjective, it means being able to wait for a long time or to accept annoying behavior without becoming angry. You have to be patient to work with Thomas. It takes a long time to do anything.
That's it. So, patient and patient are two words with different meanings that sound exactly the same and are written exactly the same way. So, just because we talked about hospital patients earlier, I want to make sure it's clear that patient is also an adjective. In fact, patience is a virtue. That's what they say. Well, I don't know if we have time to do more with the vocabulary today, but maybe we should finish class with this. In exercise number 4, it asks you to think of a colleague where you work and nominate him or her for Employee of the Month. Tell your partner, well, don't tell your partner, tell us, the class, about your Employee of the Month using the adjectives that you just learned from part 1. So what I'd like you to do is to think about someone either at work or someone in the class, perhaps me, I don't know. And I want you to use some of those words we just learned, not the words on screen, but the words we used here to describe the person and why you think they should be Employee of the Month. Okay? And just as a quick review, so far we worked on flexible, hardworking, motivated, dedicated, helpful, caring, patient, enthusiastic, and dependable. So let's go back here. Does anyone have a nominee for us? Okay, then I call on Ahmed.
Yes.
If you had to nominate an Employee of the Month or a Student of the Month, could you think of an example and describe using, let's say, no less than 3 of the adjectives that we've used today?
Yeah. Okay. Let me say patient.
Why? How so?
Jon-Eric is patient.
Me? Oh, yeah. I'm the Employee of the Month? Yes! Yes! Finally! Someone recognizes me. Very good. So you've got to justify your adjectives, though. If Jon-Eric is patient,
Yeah.
what does he do? Hold on a second. My cat is destroying the house. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. When it comes to cats, I'm not very patient. Because he was on top of the bookcase and he was about to knock over everything, including the books, which would have been very bad. Okay, so Ahmed, let's use your answer as a kind of a model. So try to pick, let's say, 2 or 3 adjectives, but then justify it so we know why. So for example, if Ahmed is the most patient student, it's because he's always willing to listen to the others and wait to speak until he's considered everyone's opinion. Something like that. So don't pick me, because I'm a bad example, Ahmed.
Okay.
Pick someone, pick one of your students. Pick one of your students. You don't have to name names, but pick someone that you know that you would really nominate as Student of the Month, and give an example, maybe 1 or 2 adjectives and 1 or 2 reasons for each choice. Can you think of an example?
Well, let me take the word enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic, good.
Yeah. One of my students is enthusiastic. He is like a ball of energy about to explode.
Wow.
Wow.
And what does he do with this energy? So is he someone who asks a lot of questions in class?
Yes. Well, if someone needs help, he's there. If
So he's very engaged in the class.
engaged, okay.
He's very engaged. Okay, but he's in all the aspects of the activity. He's always doing things. Okay, very good. Well, listen, I think we're a bit over the time. So here's what we're going to do. I think we're going to pick up tomorrow at the same hour. We're going to work on a different set of adjectives. You can see some of them here in this exercise. And what we're getting to in tomorrow's class, so there's a little bit of work with that, is being able to talk about your choices for an Employee of the Month in a more realistic way. So we're going to probably create a little scenario where you've got to justify your nomination using vocabulary that we've learned. I've got a little bit of homework for you, which I can post in the Verbling chat, the Verbling message system. So I have to create it first. So if you'd like to try it, you'll have a little practice tonight, and then we'll pick up there tomorrow at the same hour, 11 GMT, and I'll be back at 10 GMT for a different class. I think tomorrow is a news discussion class first. Today there was a technical problem and I couldn't do the class, but tomorrow will be, okay? So check your messages for that. We'll pick up tomorrow. We'll complete the working with words section for vocabulary, and on Wednesday we're going to work on the key expressions for doing an appraisal. So stick around for that later in the week. Okay, questions or comments, send me a message in Verbling. Don't forget to click follow on my profile so it's easier for us to find each other if you want to talk or give suggestions. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow at the same time.
Bye bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good day.
You everybody.
Bye.